Hello there, my name is Jonathan and this is Jonathan's Days. This is my knitting podcast episode 33 where I talk about all the things going on in the world of knitting for me and what fills up my days. Haha, see what I did there? This is going to be a fairly quick episode, mainly because it's so hot in London right now, and to give you that crystal clear sound I care about, windows are all closed. So we're going to move pretty quickly to talk about what I've gotten up to. I've got some finished objects, some exciting whips, some exciting announcements, and some acquisitions to share with you, some plans for future things. So we will not waste much time and dive right in to finished objects / what I'm wearing, which was almost finished in the previous episode. And this is the Camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is knit up in Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the color navy blue, and I've knit the large size. I'm about a 38 inch, 100-ish, just under 100 centimeters chest measurement across here, and this is the large size. I was just about to finish this, so I was right on the hem, just about to start the hem when I last filmed. And when I did last film, I was very much like, it'll only take me a little bit of time to finish this off, no problem. And how wrong I could be. So once I did knit that last little bit for the hem of this garment, because it was a top-down construction, you then had to fold it over and knit the kind of where you'd finished knitting up to the bottom to create a hem. And I've done this kind of technique before. I've done it in my own hat pattern, my Busca hat pattern. I even did the same technique, and it worked out really well, really easy. This time it was a frickin' pain. You know, I don't mind a long bind off. I get it. You know, you're doing a huge shawl, you have tons of stitches, you need to bind everything off. I don't mind. This was really frustrating. It took a very long time. It took me 2 evenings. Yeah, probably about 2 evenings to complete. It's quite difficult because this is a navy blue yarn. I hope it's showing up as navy blue on your video. It is navy blue, but that means it's like harder to see the stitches. And you're picking up to knit your final round. So you've got your final round of live stitches still on your needles. You fold over and then you pick up from the wrong side of the fabric, the garter side of the fabric, and finding the correct stitch is quite difficult. In the pattern, they did recommend you to knit the row where you would meet the pieces to fold. So that row, they recommend you knit a piece of thread through so you could find those stitches really easily, which if you remember, I did. But I did it like you would do a lifeline. So I threaded that stitch along, through my stitches, whereas I think they actually recommend you to actually knit, holding the piece of thread or whatever you want to use, double with your yarn so that you can spot those stitches that you need to pick up. So if I was to do it again, I would definitely do that. Hopefully that would help. But it was just very frustrating and took a long time, and I couldn't, I just wanted it to be done. I think it's a bit wavy where I picked up, but it was a lot of stitches. I think it was well over 300 stitches. It was on, by that point, it was on 2.5 millimeters needles. So pretty small needles. So it was a lot of stitches, took a lot of time, and I got there. It was a few weeks ago now. So, you know, I think in knitting, you always forget about the pain when you finally have the finished project. And I have forgotten about it mostly because I'm so happy with the finished object. It's been blocked. I've worn it a couple of times and absolutely love it. It's been extremely warm in London, too hot for London to really handle it. We're really, really bad at handling heat in this country. Our homes aren't built for it. It's quite a humid heat. And those of you who live in hot climates, you're like, it's not that bad. Come here. It's bad. The whole kind of society isn't good at it. So I'm happy to have a nice summer knit that I'm really, really happy about. I probably would knit it again, maybe in 2 years' time. There's other kind of summer knits that I would like to try, but it is a really, really nice staple. I'm going to come forward just so you can see the detail on the neck is, let me flick this back. The detail on the armholes across, it's so well finished, which I really, really like. Let's see if I can kind of catch the light. And then I won't be able to show you the hem super well without flashing my belly at you, but hopefully you can see it there. It's fine. It's fine as a hem. It's not, it looks good, but mine is just not neat. That's the thing. It's not very neat, but I do tend to wear it tucked into whatever trousers I'm wearing anyway, so it doesn't bother me too much. And if I was to attempt it again, I would use the final like knitting through with the thread in the proper way. I would say that. A lot of the stuff, I don't want to speak about it too much because I spoke about it a lot in the last two episodes, I think. So I think I will talk mostly about the finished object. I just absolutely love. The size is exactly what I want. It's not super fitted. I probably could have gone down. In the pattern they recommend you to go down to the smaller size if you're between, and I'm glad I didn't. The arms fit me really, really well. It's like, it is pretty high up, so it does kind of come up to my armpit, but it doesn't come up super, super high, so it's like comfortable. Yeah, I like the way it feels. I like the way it fits. If it wasn't such like, it is like a 3-week, almost 4-week project. Like, it did take me quite a long time to make, which is as much knitting as a kind of long sleeved sweater would be. So depending on what your knitting goals are, and I have I had my eyes on other things I wanted to do. So I was happy to have it off my needles. I think it's definitely a product knit for me. I really, really love the finished product. The process, not my favorite process knit. I think my favorite kinds of process knits are, notice how I said process and process? That's me living in different countries. The process of it is not my favorite. I prefer things with a lot of color and changing yarn, stuff like that. That's kind of my favorite way to like knit through the process. But the product of this was chef's kiss, amazing. The yarn is fabulous. It doesn't have a long-term wear. This is definitely one of the more close to my body knits that I have, and obviously this is cotton merino, so it has wool and cotton. We will see how it holds up. Like, I'm going to have to wash this a lot more than I would any other knit because it is right next to my skin, up against my skin, and it's being worn in the summer with sweating. You know that thing, sweating? We all do that. So yes, we will see. I could always, definitely my end of year update, when I do everything that I've knit in the year, I will update you on how this has worn throughout the year, but I'm super, super happy with it. Nobody has mentioned how fabulous it is, which is kind of frustrating because the finishing is so nice. Nobody realizes it's hand knit. So maybe I need to put a little pin that says I made it. But I love the finished piece. It's got that, like, it is the star of the show is the way they've done the neckline and the armholes, which is with stockinette, which is folded over. They have their, I think it's T1 pattern, which uses the same technique for the neckline and the sleeves. I don't see myself doing many more summer knits this year. The one that has caught my eye the most is Rebecca from the Crea Bears. I'm going to say Lunan tee. I like that one a lot. That's really, really my style and has loads of different options for necklines. So I'm thinking I've got some yarn. Oh, and I could stripe it. I'm literally looking at the yarn and I'm thinking, oh, I could use that and I could stripe it. Anyway, so yes, if I'm going to do one more summer knit before the end of the year, it will be that. But looking at my calendar, it's already pretty full of plans and adventures when it comes to knitting, which I'm really excited about. So we'll see if I can squeeze it in, because you want to make it and be able to wear it. We've also had a really late summer here in the UK, so I've been wearing more of my old knits than my one new summer knit that I did this year. But anyway, that's the camisole number 9. I was going to put back on, I was wearing a white shirt over it, but it is quite warm, so if you don't mind, I will keep my shoulders out for the rest of the episode. And let's talk about one other finished object and lots of updates and news and dates for you. So I finished my 3rd sample of my utility shawl. I'm just gonna flip it over. It's literally like I did the Kitchener to finish it off. I got up from the couch and I walked over here to film this right now. So it is completely finished. I probably wouldn't wear it with a tank top normally. But yes, this is my third sample of this. This is my pattern, the utility shawl. It is... Technically, I said that the test would finish this week, but because I'm not going to release it until the 23rd of August, my testers have a bit more time, but most of them have finished and most of them are on their second or third version of it, which is great. We love to hear it. So this was knit out of Telling yarns in the Resolute base. This is in the color Gwen Stacy. It's a fingering weight yarn. And this third test, the point of it was to figure out if, so the pattern calls for a fingering and a mohair, like a lace weight, quite, well, you know, mohair, lace weight means like almost cobweb weight in my opinion, but held together. In this version, it was just the fingering, and the test for this was to see if I would get a similar size to the version holding with mohair than without holding mohair on this one. And also trying to do, I want to have a note in the pattern. I have decided I'm going to have a note in the pattern how to use it like a recipe, which basically means you will weigh your yarn before you cast on, and that way you can use up as much of your yarn as possible and show off your skein without having too much left over. So this one I split my yarn into 45% of 45% and 55%. It's 100 gram skein, so it was 45 grams, 50 grams, and I knit until basically until this, the first half finished. So 45 grams were in the increase, and then I did the decrease, and I still have 5 grams left over. So just under 5 grams. So I do know for a fact that the decrease section does take a bit more yarn, technically. But you know, I'm not going to advise you to use exactly 50-50 in the pattern, because I know that's a dangerous thing to do, and we don't all have the same gauge, we don't all do things the same way, so that will not be my advice in the pattern. I was playing a bit like on the edge. I think I'm definitely on the edge with like just under 5 grams left over, because the worst thing you'd have is like getting to the end and not having a yarn to finish. So I don't want that to happen to anyone, because it'd be quite frustrating. But for me, this was a test, and sometimes tests failed. Thankfully this one worked quite well. So if you don't know, you cast on one corner and you knit all the way down to the other end. It is recommended, well, you kind of have to use magic loop method for this, because you use a Turkish cast on for the start, and then you go all the way down, you increase, you decrease, and it's just fabulous. And I'm really, really happy with this one. I can't wait to get it blocked. It's obviously a different, so I have my original one. This is the original one, which is definitely like heavier because it's got the mohair and it's like more, I do think the weight of this one, because this isn't Telling Yarns fingering weight, it is a bit chunkier. Obviously I'm going to wait to measure the final gauge once I've blocked this, but size wise they are matching pretty well. If I put it on the like this, there's only this much of a difference, which I know because I've calculated, because I used up the complete 45% of the ball. It's about 15 rows, and that's about 15 rows there. So the mats is solid on this one, and it's obviously a little bit taller as well. So the mats is mathing, which is good, and means I'll be pretty confident in advising my lovely knitters and friends who want to make this pattern on how to do a recipe version of it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So the test technically finishes this weekend, and photos are being taken quite soon. Once this one is all blocked, we will go out and hopefully catch a nice golden hour. Would be nice after work this week. Grab my Instagram boyfriend. I'm just like, I can't even see what I'm doing, so I'm not sure how well I'm styling it. So yes, photos will be this week, and then it will release on the 23rd of August, which is a Friday. And yes, I'm very excited about it. And the other thing I wanted to announce off the back of this is, yes, I'm starting a newsletter. It's happening. You love Jonathan's Days? Well, I want to tell you about Jonathan's Month is probably my plan. I'm not going to call it Jonathan's Month. That's weird. But yes, I'm starting a newsletter, and the plan is to have one out once a month. So I don't want to clog anyone's inbox. I actually want it to be something you want to read and look at. It will also be the only place you will be able to get a discount when the pattern goes live. So when the shawl pattern goes live, there will be a discount code for Ravelry. That is currently the only place I will be selling the pattern. I will look into an alternative once I've got a few more patterns under my belt. But for now, it'll just be on Ravelry. So if you would like a discount code on this pattern when it releases on the 23rd of August, please go to the show notes below this video. Go down there, subscribe to the newsletter. You will get, the first newsletter will come out that week. So the week of the 23rd of August, and it'll have the discount code in there, as well as like what's going on in my life. We spoke a lot in the last episode about like adding more to this world of ours. And so it'll have some things like, I don't know, books I'm reading, podcasts I'm listening to, shows I'm watching, places I visited, restaurants I've been to, recommendations for London. People ask me a lot about London, visiting London, so I think it would be nice to have those in there. Nothing too in-depth, nothing too long. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I just thought it would be a nice way to keep in touch, especially since the overall consensus from lovely commenters in the last video was that people are happy for me to do something a little bit different with the videos. So I'm definitely going to forge ahead with that, which will mean the actual podcast videos are less frequent and every second video will be a different topic. So when the shawl releases, the video that I want to do is an every shawl I've knit video. So I'm going to go through all the shawls I've knit so far in my little knitting career, which will include 2 of them from 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now. So going through all my shawls, and that will be like the next video, and then a few more 3 weeks after that I will do a regular podcast episode. What that means is I won't be updating you on my knitting that often, so the newsletter will have a little kind of whip update on where I am with my knitting. But yes, so that's the utility shawl, 23rd of August. It's happening, my second pattern ever. I'm so excited. I have actually, this is the large version here. It feels so strange to be flashing these when I've got a tank top on, but this is the large version. Super cute, super fluffy, super nice. So yeah, they're all here. Oops, all 3 of them, all here. 23rd of August, it's coming out, which is a Friday. Sign up for the newsletter to get the discount for that. And you'll see a video going live about all the shawls I've ever knit when that goes up, when that is released too. So lots to look forward to in the next 3 weeks. And I've got shawls falling all over the place. I'm going to throw them over here now because it's so warm. And then I'm going to take a sip of water and then we'll just talk about my whips. I've only got 1 whip, but I'm really excited about it. Okay, because I just cast off the utility shawl, I only have one other project on my needles, which is something I spoke about quite a while ago, but haven't cast on. But I wanted to show you this first. This is my Tesselated pullover, or vest. Yeah, Tesselated vest actually, because there's a pullover version. This is the vest. I made this last year. This is by Andrea Mowry. It was the Rhinebeck sweater of 2023, and here's a picture of me with Andrea Mowry in our Tesselated sweaters, and I love this. This was knit out of Arbon Yarnadelic and some Spincycle and some chink fiber, and I love this. I actually haven't worn it pretty recently. It's just so hot. It's been quite hard to wear in it, but it is a nice one to wear in warmer weather because it is a vest, which I quite like. So this I made last year and I loved it. It took quite a while. I will remember that. Like it didn't grow very quickly, but I am super happy with the finished product. And if you remember, I did buy yarn for, well, both. Like I think, was there a pullover version when she released it? Did she release both at the same time? She must have done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she released the pullover and the vest at the same time. So I did buy 2 color options at the time. And my other whips that I've spoken about, utility shawl, This, my other raglan before it was a lot of stockinette in the round. Now, I love stockinette in the round. It's really nice to have a stockinette in the round project on the go. It's really relaxing, meditative. We all kind of, I feel like most knitters love just having some stockinette, and I'm no exception. However, I was really kind of becoming fatigued by the stockinette, and I really wanted something different. I just spoke about, you know, the different processes I like, and not having kind of lots of variations in color and something exciting and texture was really kind of getting to me. So before we went to Barcelona a few weeks ago, before we went to Barcelona, I said, okay, what's going to be my like travel project for Barcelona? It has to be something that I'm really excited to knit on, because, you know, you're on holiday, you're on vacation, you want it to be a treat. So I cast on the Tesselated cardigan. Now, I did this using the yarns that I had planned for the pullover. And let me pull, I actually still have some in skein. So my original plan was using this, which is the John Arbon Yarnadelic in the color Ordinary Joe. And then the Spincycle I had is in Nicoya. This is Dyed in the Wool by Spincycle, and this is their like tonals. Let's see if I can pull this up, you can see. There you go. So it's like a tonal Spincycle, so it's not like as color shifty as regular Spincycle. And so my plan was, so I had enough to do another vest. And I did my calculations completely wrong and didn't have enough of the Ordinary Joe and didn't have enough of what I was originally going to use as the third color, which was some chink fiber. So I didn't have enough. And so I had to get more of the Ordinary Joe. So my Ordinary Joe, I know, was very old. I got it from Loop and it had the old label on it. So I ordered 2 more skeins of the Ordinary Joe. This is the undyed color of the Yarnadelic. So I ordered that and hoped to God that they match. I was like, it's undyed. Like they have to match in colorways. And then I was holding them up against each other. I was like, they're different. They're different. Like it's subtle, but a subtle difference between colors in skeins show like a line on your actual knit. So I didn't want to risk it. So I ended up getting 2 more of the newer version of the Yarnadelic, and it was quite nice because I ordered directly from the John Arbon website, and I put in like, please, if you have the same batches, because it was like a couple of days later, they had really fast shipping. They had the exact same batch, so I have the same color. I needed 4 skeins of this. I'm doing the large size of the cardigan, and I have 3 skeins of this, which is what I need. And then finally, for the fluff for it, I actually ended up getting what is recommended in the pattern, which is Farmer's Daughter Fibers. It's the first time I've ever used Farmer's Daughter's Fibers, and this is Odang. It is 74% Suri alpaca, 26% silk, and this is in the colorway Highwayman, and you only need 2 of these. So I have 2 of those, and then these are my 3 colors of those. So really, really happy with these colors. The original fluff I wanted to use was like an electric blue, which was quite cool with the navy and the just like the beige color. But I do like this. This is a very me color palette. You know, I love my blues and my greens. What can I say? What can I say? So this is knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, and then the ribbing is on 2.75 millimeter needles, and it is knit flat because it is the cardigan version. And I like purling, I will admit. I decided maybe over a year ago to try and just make friends with purling, and I've just slowly been doing that because the only way to improve a purling is to do more purling. So I'm always happy to purl, and doing cardigans is a great way to do that. So I don't like steeking. I don't really believe in steeking just because I don't like the idea of cutting and all the yarn and never being able to reuse it. I know it has its applications and I get it, but it just like, I don't like that aspect of it. So knitting cardigans flat is the way to go for me. So here's how far I am. Oh, it looks great in the camera. Okay, let me kind of pull this along so you can see it. So this is as far as I've gotten. Here it is all knit up, gonna come nice and close. Oh, it looks fabulous. It looks fabulous. So I definitely have rowing out in my ribbing. You can see like the stitches, instead of being V's, they're kind of like this. So So they're like that on top of each other rather than being just like V's on top of V's. But that is fine. I think I'm doing that knitted thing of it'll block out. It won't block out, but it doesn't bother me. It's really nice ribbing, and it's quite a long, it's like 7.5 centimeters of ribbing at the bottom, and then I have to get up to about between 36 and 39 centimeters before I start the front and the back, like splitting for the sleeves essentially, because it's a bottom up piece. And this has just brought me so much joy. I've been doing my like work knitting, and then this is like my reward. So my work knitting is like my utility shawl or my other patterns or writing stuff up for my other patterns. And then this was like, once I'd finished that, I'd say, okay, you can do 10 rows of the utility shawl and then you get to do a few rows of this. So what was really important about that was just like, well, I just think it's really important to try and keep the joy of knitting there, especially when you're doing more designing. I mean, I've only done a small few, but I think it's really important for me and my mental health to make sure that knitting never like feels like a chore necessarily. Like I always want to keep my passion and my joy for it. Like I don't think it will ever become my full-time job because I just don't think it will. But if I'm using my spare time to do more like professional worky knits, then I actually don't want it to like steal the joy of the knitting. So balancing it with things that aren't my patterns, like, because when you're knitting, even if it's something that's your pattern that you're enjoying, you're still thinking about the pattern. You're still thinking about, okay, when I write this up, it should say this, and you know, oh, I should adjust that, and like, what stitch count am I on? Oh, should I weigh my yarn right now just to see where I'm at? Like all those things. And that kind of takes away sometimes from the joy of knitting, I would say. So with this was really nice because it was like you get to know the pattern really, really easily, and it had really nice fun colors, which I enjoyed, different textures, and I just need to keep going. And I know this will take me quite a long time because, as I mentioned, this stitch pattern grows quite slowly. It's a mosaic knitting, which is like a lot of slips. It's color work technically, but it's a lot of slipping of stitches, and therefore you're not like growing the fabric as quickly because you're not actually knitting stitches. They're just kind of being stretched. So it will grow when it's blocked, and it is mentioned in the pattern, but it's not going very quickly, and that's absolutely fine with me. I don't think I will finish this anytime soon. I think this is one of those projects that will be 2 months, 3 months. Like, you know, I finished the utility shawl now, so I'm going to pick up something else to have going in tandem with this, and just let this be kind of more of my long-term project that I come back and forth to. So what's next? Well, you will knit up until you get to under your armpits where you split for sleeves. You'll do the two fronts, the back, you join them, and then you knit the sleeve down. And then you do the button band. But now I trust you. I've only knit 2 cardigans before, and I've only done a button band once, and it was on like 5mm, 6mm needles. But do accomplished cardigan knitters recommend me doing the button band sooner rather than later? I think so. I think it would be nicer to do the button band and then the sleeves, because I feel like a button band is like more challenging. So then once you've got the button band done, you can kind of enjoy the sleeves more because the sleeves will be easier. What do we think? I'm thinking button band first and then sleeves. I also need buttons for this, which I don't have. So tell me what you think. Button band first or then sleeves? I do think button band first. It's probably what I'm going to do. Well, I'm thinking button band first. Convince me otherwise, is what I will say. But yeah, I do like it. It will go like this, which is quite nice. It looks quite small here, obviously, because it's on a smaller needles, but I do like this big chunky rib. Looks so good, and I do like the way the colors like meld from a distance. So I'm just so excited about it. It's really making me happy. It's really relaxing and enjoyable. I love the rhythm of mosaic knitting. I do like slipping stitches. It makes me feel powerful. I don't know why. But yes, these two I've used before and I absolutely love. Yarnadelic is so soft. I love how soft it is. And Spincycle we know I love. And this is my first time using this. So we'll see how this holds up. It looks good right now. It's not as chunky as the Ching Fiver Melted Baby Suri that I used in my other one, but it looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm in my cardigan era. It will be my 3rd cardigan ever. And I'm just loving cardigans. I'm loving purling. I'm loving knitting flat, which is quite interesting. So Yes, again, it is on 3.5mm needles, 2.75mm needles for the ribbing, so it's like a small gauge knit, so it's not going to be quick, but I am really, really enjoying it. And yes, that's all the actual knitting. I'm going to do acquisitions, but before we do that, I want to talk about the Knit and Ramble retreat, which I spoke about in the last episode. I announced in the last episode. We announced it over on Instagram, and the response has been insane. It has been amazing. Anton and I are just blown away by the response. We're so thrilled about it. And the response has been so strong, we have a second date. Yes, that's right. We're doing a second one in March next year. So this is going to be the Spring Knit and Ramble retreat. It takes place from March 20th to 24th. Thursday 20th, Friday 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So 20th to 23rd of March 2025, next year, we have a second one. So the response has been so amazing that we have decided to do a second one. But if you click down below, that's where you will be able to look at all the information and I think when I upload, I'm going to make sure when I upload, they will be live. So if you go down below, the listings should be live for both dates. And yeah, we've had tons of interest. So if you are interested, go now and check it out. And yes, if you can't make either of those dates, let us know. And if you can't wait to come, let us know too, because we want you to come. So yes, get down there, book in if you'd like to join us for the November or March retreats. We have more information there. We have the schedule up there of what the actual physical hikes and farm visits, what the workshops are going to look like, what we're going to do, what we're going to get up to. There's going to be happy hours, there's going to be cocktail hours, there's going to be adventures, nice breakfast, good food, hanging out with me, hanging out with Anton, seeing some sheep. I mean, what else do you want? That's it. So we're so excited. Get down there if you want to come and join us for the retreats in November and March of this year and next year. Yeah, that's all the information will be down there. Let's talk some acquisitions. Am I forgetting to tell you anything? No, I think that's it. So let's talk about some acquisitions before we wrap up. I have just two. The first is from one of my favorite podcaster, favorite yarn dyers ever, from Big Little Yarn Co. This is Mel's hand-dyed yarn company, and I ordered from her Sakura. Did she call it her Sakura collection? Hanami collection? It was her spring collection, and I got a couple of bits from her. So the first thing I got were two skeins. So this is British wool alpaca fingering, 20% grey UK alpaca, blue flace Leicester, Shetland. It's 2-ply fingering weight. Hand dyed in Hyogo, Japan. This is the color Sakura. And then the other one I got was in Surrey Silk Lace, which is Surrey alpaca silk, lace weight, and it's in the color Hanami. So that's the label. I got these obviously to put together and make another utility shawl. So variegated like this aren't necessarily my normal cup of tea. However, putting it as a mohair with a main color like this, I just thought would be amazing, because you can see obviously Mel is fantastic with color. So these pinks, let's see if I can show you that. Get my face out of it. So obviously, Hanami is correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of to go and view the Sakura cherry blossom flowers in Japan. And then this is Sakura, which is obviously pink inspired by the cherry blossom. So I thought that they would go really well together. So the plan is to make another utility shawl. Hopefully it will be, yeah, it's completely different shade to this. So, and I think with this mohair paired with it, it will kind of tone it down as well and just create some really, really fun interest. Obviously, I've made 3 of my utility shawls in a row, so this will probably be towards the end of the year that I actually make it. When the when the weather turns a bit cooler, I'm most likely cast this on, but I thought it was really, really nice and was just really excited about it. I love these colors. They're such a vibe. I just love these colors. And then the other thing I got was a sock set. So this is a BFL sock set, which is 100% Blueface Leicester 4 plies, which is great. We like that for socks. And so there is a a variegated and tonal in a mini. So these are the 2 colors. So the main is Spring Rain on top, and then the tonal is Haru. And these are so good. I'm actually going to do my classic, the DRK Everyday Socks with these. And I'm going to use the mini to do like a heel and a stripe. I think will look really cool. And obviously similar to the other one, you can tell like there's a bit of this color in this variegated. So it will just look really, really nice and like break up that like really graphic, swirly variegation, and then you'll just have like a nice stripe. So that's the other one I picked up from that collection. When this video uploads, her Spooky Summer collection is going live, I believe. Yeah, because this is going up on Sunday, and I believe her collection for Spooky Summer this year is going live. It is one of my favorite collections. I am not going to get anything from it, but there's so many good ones. I like really, really want to. But if you liked these colors, or if you watched for a while my Satellite Shawl, that's made using her Spooky Summer collection from a few years ago. So if you want some really, really nice, beautiful colors, go run, don't walk to that and get some of her Spooky Summer collection, because it is one of my favorite collections. So I'm just waiting for your advent calendars, Mel. Please be doing an advent calendar this year. So yes, that's what I picked up from Mel from Big Little Yarn Co. And then finally, we had a wedding here in the UK, and I wasn't planning on this, but we got to this lovely town in Shropshire, and I like was walking through this town. I was like, this is such a beautiful town. It's small. It's got all these like nice little shops, like some independent stores. I was like, I wonder if there's any yarn shops around here. So I did go for a wander, and I came across this lovely little yarn shop. They do have 2 locations, and I picked up 2 skeins of some Shropshire 4-ply. This is their 2020 4-ply, which I'm assuming is the year that the sheep were shorn. And, oh, is this the name of the color? I guess it is. Anyway, so it's from this is the shop, which is called You and Ply. Great name. And this is, each of these are 50 grams. It is 28 stitches on 3.25 needles, and 100% grown and made in Britain, kettle dyed in small batches, spun by Curlew weavers, and Shropshire Dutch spotted Lanvinog. Oh, that's Welsh, not great at Welsh. Castle Milk Moored, all and coloured alpaca. So it's really a blend of bunch of things, and the color, if this is the color name, it's Gentian, Gentin, and this is the color I got. Again, another navy. Looks pretty like tonal, but like, you know, with a lot of variation in it. And I got this, the idea was to do a utility shawl for my partner, but I don't think he'll wear it. So, and even though this is 4-ply, it feels pretty chunky to me. Well, chunky enough that I might do one of Andrew Mowry's cowls, potentially the DRK Everyday cowl, if not the Traveller cowl. I'll have to play and see if I can, I mean, I can do the needle size is fine, it's pretty chunky. The problem is, the challenge will be if I have actually enough from this. So yeah, or just do my own little cowl design. Not too hard, just to have something nice, because I think this color will look nice on my boyfriend. So yes, that's the other thing I picked up from You and Ply in Shropshire. Didn't plan on there, but was just there in town for a lovely wedding and just had a really nice time, and we had time to wander around the town and pick up some yarn along the way. And I like that it's like local, rustic, felt great, looked great. happy with it. The shop that I went to was lovely. The lady in there was really, really nice and chatty and friendly. So yeah, loved it. Can't recommend enough. And yeah, that's it. This is a relatively fast episode. How's my sweat looking? Not too bad. Thank you to everyone who commented on the last video. I read every single comment, as I always do, and the comments were so helpful. Like, you helped me make decisions that I was on the fence on, like that, like, you know, I think about it all the time, and I struggle with making decisions when it comes to like patterns and things like that. And having you to turn to and getting that feedback is just so helpful. So I really do treasure it. I really do appreciate it. And it's helped me make some decisions about what I'm going to do with sizing for sweater patterns. That decision has absolutely been made. And as well as like future of the channel and other things, and people are happy for me to talk about some of the things. So next few plans for things that aren't the podcast are definitely knitting, but we're going to throw in some stationery there. It is the new year of planners is coming up. That starts in September. So we might do a little stationery update. And definitely some yarn shop bits. So I'm going to see if I can reach out to the yarn shops to see if some London yarn shop owners would be fine with me kind of pottering in and filming and chatting to them. So that's the plan, to do nice fun things. But yes, lots of good stuff in the calendar. The next 6 months here on the channel are going to be super exciting. We've got patterns coming out. I've got to cast on my second version of the busket cowl because that's coming. So the test knit will probably be announced for that the next full podcast episode, because I want to get that one out. And yes, the sweater will be coming too, most likely the new year at this point, just because the way other things are taking time and the way that life is going. That will be the plan. So thank you so much for watching. Throw me a comment, throw me a like, comment and subscribe. They really, really help. So I do appreciate that. Let me know what you're knitting on. Are you deep in summer knits, or are you already thinking about winter knits? You're getting ready for the cold. I want to know. If you're not knitting, let me know. Do you watch this when you're not knitting, or does everyone just grab their knitting? I don't know. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this far. Thank you so much for supporting. I'm just really excited about the next couple of months, and I can't wait to have lots of new fun stuff for you. Newsletter down below get your discount for the utility shawl. Come with me for the Knit and Ramble retreat, or just sit there, chill out, hit the like button and stay tuned. I hope I get you company, and I hope you're having a really, really good time. I hope life is good. I hope your friends and family are good. And yeah, take care. Love you lots. Bye.